Hey, how's it going? It's Jimmy. Today I'm going to be making a video with introducing Agent One. We're going to be making a film trailer. So this isn't going to be some short 30-second commercial. This is going to be something that's going to be 2.5 minutes long. It's going to have multiple locations. It's going to have multiple characters. It's going to have all those tricky things that can be really hard to do with generative AI. First way I started off with this project was to long list the idea. So I came up with the kernel of the idea. I put it away. I came back to it. I scripted the whole thing. Just did it rough. Then I worked with Fable 5 and I really thought about the script. I'd say I spend about half the project working on the script. The next thing I want to do is get my style right. So when I say style, I mean something like this. So you see here, visual, style, context. This is going to be what kind of cameras I want to reference. This is going to be what kind of lenses I want to reference. It's going to be all the things I don't want to see, the things I do want to see. It's got things like color references in there. It's got everything I want to see within like the color and look of the film to make sure it's really, really tight. So it means that there's nowhere else for the agent to go. There's no kind of question marks. I know exactly when I start that this is the kind of movie that I want to make. And then we're going to give it a little prompt I put together so that I know and Agent One knows exactly where we stand. So these two documents cover the whole project. The style context is law and applies on top of every prompt. The build sheet is the work order. We'll go render by render and I'll tell you which render each time. 2 rules are absolute, no music or singing in any generation, dialogue only. Just to kind of reiterate the rules we need to be able to get the perfect renders we do. Now, when you're talking about building like longer form content, you're not going to be asking Seedance to generate the music because you want to make it consistent across the piece. This is all about just the visuals, and then we're going to create the music at the end. We're going to create some of the voiceover at the end. This is about getting what we need, it's the ingredients. What I love about Agents is that you can just see the thought process, the way it kind of like just works it through part by part. And yeah, I know I'm going to have to like pull it back sometimes and re-go again. But there's something really joyous to just know that you've done all the work, and then when you pass it over to an agent, if you've done it properly, it should just be able to work it all out. In the build sheet, I had a list of renders that I wanted to do, and we're going to pull its files, and we're going to say, in order, render 1, request, upload from me of the files you need. Okay, let's see if we can work that out. You can see it's asked for 2 files, 6PNG and L1 bedroom PNG. So let's get those files up. You've got your build sheet, you've got your style guide. There are 2 other things that I would say you definitely want to have before you get into your project. One is your hero characters, and one is going to be your location characters. Now you can make them in Agent One, and I'm going to ask Agent One to do things like character sheets. But I like to start with Midjourney for this one, because I find I get more control in terms of like the style. So when I was creating the images, the character images and location references for this project, what I could do was I could have style reference codes. By the time I get to this point, those form the basis of the style and the look. But what Agent One creates is the next level up, the image editing. But if you start off with really good cinematic stuff to start with, then when you're building upwards, it's going to filter through all the rest of the project. It's all about having the best ingredients. You have the best ingredients, you're going to make the best AI film. Great, that's generating absolutely perfect. What I did in my style sheet, and I locked this into my build sheet, was to say I only want to work in HD Seedance 2.0 because I feel like it's the best model for this. The thing is about models is that if you choose the same model throughout the whole project, you know it's going to have a similar-ish look, especially if your style guide pushes it towards that one area. And what I've tried to do is create consistency in every part of the project, so that when it comes out of it and I'm in the edit, I know that the rushes I'm dealing with, they're not going to clash, they're going to cut together well, the lighting is going to be good, and when I do things like colouring, it means I can have a bit more uniformity across the whole piece. Is there somewhere I can upload the total assets you'll need for every step of the project? So here we go. On the upload question, yes, there's a clean way to do it. There's no cloud folder importer. but you can bulk drop the whole asset in one go. Drag and drop or the plus button as many files you like, up to 500 megabytes each. Once they're in, I file them into the project's context as a central asset library and pull the write refs for each render automatically. So upload once, never hand me the file rendered again. These are my different characters that are all going to appear. I'll just say, here are all the character sheets. Okay, images, location references. Here are all the outstanding location references. I'm also going to give it all the different voice references. So the voice references are going to give the accent and what I want them to sound like. So in this project, it's really important to me that they all have like a British Essex accent. Like where I envisage it is like a small school in North Essex, like somewhere that's a bit unique. I think you could easily make this film and just give it that American kind of high school thing, but that's not the film I wanted to make. I wanted to make something that was quintessentially like of a world I could relate to. What you'll also notice throughout is that there are loads of little nods. So things like the post books, the Morris car, the police. I think that's really important in your filmmaking, to really think about all those tiny little details. So that's good. So there's some good stuff in that, but what I think we need to do is, when it comes to like because it's making this bit here, it's making it, you can see it's mispronounced March. You know, it's got some of the stuff there, and maybe I could use it in like a quick cut, but what it'd be really good is to have her like putting a big X through that number. So let's download this and we will come back to this later on. Can you continue this process with the remaining renders up to the final R23? If you have any queries on a specific render, put it to one side, go on to the next one, and we can review it at the end. So we want to continue to R23, and we wanted to defer any problems we've got so we can review them at the end. And then we're going to have like a nice run all the way through. We're going to have a look at the cut, and then we're going to think about what shots we're missing. And then it's kind of like filling the gaps at that point. Okay, there we go. Here we got 6, just having some breakfast, looking happy. Don't know what's going on with that milk. Maybe that's a bit off. There's a bit of morphing there. That's a bit weird. Boom, we can work with that. That's enough. What you're going to see, like, there's so much wrong with that. So the milk's wrong. There's a double orange juice. Okay? But sometimes when you're going to like 15 seconds, you're going to appreciate you're going to get some duff stuff in there. What we have got is a really good run out. We've got one sip of the orange juice. We've got the cereal at the start. That's going to be enough. And I'll show you at the end why. Look, it's all happening, guys. Dispatching 8 requests. 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 again. 7, 8, 9. Yes. Look at this, boom. Now we're talking. And I'm going to go and grab a cup of tea.